to write this story today?
Yeah, I was really putting pen to paper and really doing the modeling from everything we've done over the last 4 to 5 weeks. You know, me and you have talked about it when it came out, Ford, GM, others, the 313 area code going to Tesla. Now trying to model it out. I mean, and I think for investors, it's very helpful. We think conservatively 10 to 20 billion per year. I think it's probably on the latter part by the end of the decade. I think it's significant. This is the next stage of monetization for the Tesla ecosystem.
Wedbush veteran technology analyst Dan Ives, in a recent note, called Tesla a golden EV success story. He highlighted the growing adoption of Tesla's supercharger network and added, "We expect more names such as Hyundai, Honda Acura, and other large OEMs to follow suit." It is no secret that Tesla broke the internet a few months back when it announced its partnership with various legacy automakers. It all started when Ford announced it had made a deal with Tesla that would allow Ford EVs to use Tesla charging stations with an adapter. Additionally, it will make Tesla's charging tech standard on its EVs starting in 2025. It was a surprising partnership between rivals and was just as shocking when General Motors followed suit and said it struck a nearly identical deal with Tesla. "Collaboration is a key part of our strategy," GM CEO Barra said. A network of 12,000 Tesla superchargers in North America will be open to GM EV drivers next year, initially requiring an adapter. Beginning in 2025, GM will equip its EVs with the same inlet standard for direct access, GM said. Shares of GM rallied nearly 4% in aftermarket trading after the news. The stock ended the regular trading day down 1%. Meanwhile, Tesla shares jumped more than 3% in the extended session after a 4.6% gain during Thursday's regular trading, extending its advance to a 10th straight session. This collaboration is a key part of our strategy and an important next step in quickly expanding access to fast chargers for our customers, GM Chief Executive Mary Barra said in a statement. Not only will it help make the transition to electric vehicles more seamless for our customers, but it could help move the industry toward a single North American charging standard, Barra said.
So even when we say in 2035 we're going to sell all light-duty vehicles will be electric, it's going to take time after that. But I know Mike Wirth, so I think he believes me. And that's what GM's going to do. Right. But, from a full-line manufacturer that is both internal combustion and EVs, we're the only OEM that has said that for all of our brands.
Tesla's mission is to accelerate the transition to sustainable energy, said Rebecca Tanucci, Tesla's Senior Director of Charging Infrastructure. Giving every EV owner access to ubiquitous and reliable charging is a cornerstone of that mission, she said. News of Tesla's partnership with Ford and GM was well received. In fact, Tesla shares set a fresh 8-month high a few days back, jumping 4% to $244.50, after the firm announced that it will open its supercharger network to General Motors electric vehicles, coming on the heels of a similar announcement for Ford EVs. This represents a large monetization opportunity for Tesla, Wedbush analyst Dan Ives said in a recent note to clients, upping his price target for Tesla by 40% to $300. Tesla stock is now up more than 30% since announcing the Ford Charger, tacking on some $190 billion in market capitalization during that time frame. More people buying EVs increases the likelihood that they buy Teslas, RBC Capital Markets analyst Tom Narayan wrote in a note. A rising tide lifts all boats, and if consumers see their neighbor having an EV, they are more likely to buy one themselves, and this increases the chances they buy a Tesla. Then, in another shocking turn of events, Rivian joined General Motors and Ford in announcing it had signed an agreement with Tesla to provide Rivian drivers access to Tesla's supercharger network across the United States and Canada. What's more, Texas announced it will require electric vehicle charging companies to include both Tesla's North American Charging Standard (NACS) and the Combined Charging System (CCS) standard to qualify for a state program to electrify the state's highways using federal dollars. The decision by Ford, GM, and now Rivian to adopt NACS changed requirements for Phase 1. Each direct current fast charge port will be required to have one CCS connector and one NACS connector, the Texas Department of Transportation told Reuters. The adoption of the North American Charging Standard will enable our existing and future customers to leverage Tesla's expansive supercharger network while we continue to build out our Rivian Adventure network. Rivian CEO RJ Scaringe said in a statement, Rivian's decision follows GM and Ford, which recently partnered with Tesla to gain access to its supercharger network. Meanwhile, Stellantis is also mulling adopting Tesla's EV charging standard. It's great to see the industry coming together to adopt the North American charging standard, Rebecca Tanucci, Tesla's Senior Director of Charging Infrastructure, said in a recent statement. By doing so, we're collectively ensuring all EV drivers have access to easy-to-use, reliable charging hardware. We look forward to welcoming Rivian owners to thousands of our superchargers across North America. Notably, transportation is responsible for over a quarter of U.S. greenhouse gas emissions, highlighting the urgent need to electrify the sector and preserve our world for future generations. By enabling drivers to charge their vehicles at a greater number of locations, this collaboration and others like it are important to help accelerate EV adoption. RJ Scaringe, founder and CEO of Rivian, said, "We're excited to work with Tesla and to see collaborations like this help advance the world toward carbon neutrality. We look forward to continuing to find new ways to accelerate EV adoption." While Volkswagen is still having talks, Polestar just became the next EV maker to announce a move to Tesla's North American charging standard. Swedish electric vehicle maker Polestar recently said that it has signed a deal with Tesla that will allow drivers of its EVs to charge at about 12,000 Tesla charging stations in North America starting next year. New Polestar vehicles sold in North America will come standard with the Tesla-designed North American Charging Standard or NACS plug starting in 2025. Owners of existing Polestars will be able to charge at Tesla supercharger stations with an adapter starting in mid-2024. We salute the pioneering work Tesla has done to speed up the adoption and increase the popularity of electric vehicles, and it's great to see the supercharger network being made available in this way, said CEO Thomas Ingenloth. This move will greatly increase the rate of EV adoption in a key automotive region. Polestar's deal follows an identical one announced by corporate sibling Volvo Cars. Then, not even 48 hours after Polestar announced its deal with the leading EV maker, Electrify America became the latest company to align itself with Tesla's EV charging standard. The company, which was created as part of a settlement of the Volkswagen diesel emission scandal, said Thursday it will add Tesla's North American charging standard NACS connector to Electrify America and Electrify Canada's fast charging networks by 2025. Electrify America said it will also continue to provide the combined charging system CCS1 connector throughout its network. Since our founding, we have focused on building an inclusive and open hyperfast charging network to facilitate the adoption of electric vehicles, Electrify America CEO and President Robert Barossa said in a statement. We look forward to continuing to support industry-wide standards that increase vehicle interoperability and streamline public charging. Simply put, a long line of rival automakers have thrown in the towel and agreed to join Tesla's supercharger network. Ford Motor Company was the first to break with tradition back in May, and it was quickly followed by General Motors and Rivian. Several other automakers joined the trend in rapid succession, including Volvo, Polestar, Mercedes-Benz, and Nissan. In light of this, Tesla is set to access up to $20 billion in revenues from its recent supercharger deals with Ford, General Motors, and various other automakers, according to a recent note from Dan Ives of Wedbush. Undoubtedly, Tesla's supercharger network is the most robust and expansive on the planet, and earlier this summer it gained massive attention when it struck deals with various OEMs to allow their EVs to access the charging infrastructure starting in spring 2024. A few days ago, Ives wrote in a note to investors, "To dive deeper into this sum of the parts valuation, we modeled and projected out Tesla's supercharger network, taking into account access and revenues from other OEMs using stations across the United States. Ultimately, we estimate that Tesla's supercharger business will be roughly 3 to 6% of total revenues, translating to a $10 billion to $20 billion business by 2030. Ives wrote in the note that while the supercharger network opening to OEMs is a major part of the Tesla story, it is just one part, which implies that there are more, which there are. Strong production figures, a thriving energy business, continuous improvement on the side of the development of autopilot and full self-driving, an unmatched battery ecosystem, and increased production and scale scope are all contributing to a strong financial sheet for Tesla. We believe Tesla is in a prime position to further capitalize on the EV transformation taking place as part of the government's plan to reduce carbon emissions to zero by 2050, Ives wrote. Make sure to subscribe for more.